let's start with President Biden's address this week to a mini joint session of Congress, during which he said that to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the people, we need to root out systemic racism in our criminal justice system. Part of which is enacting the George Floyd police reform bill that's passed the House and is now before the Senate. What is your reaction to President Biden's statement? Will that solve the current problems?
No, I think, the statement itself is delusional, and the left knows that they can't prove, they have no proof, none whatsoever, of systemic racism or systemic police brutality in the police services involving the 800,000 men and women that are police officers in this country. The bottom line is they yell, they scream, they continue to call them racist, they continue to call for reforms, but when you look at statistics, for example, unarmed black males versus white males being shot and killed, there are far more whites, almost half more whites, killed than blacks. The chances of you being shot and killed in the United States as an unarmed male, unarmed black male, is like 0.00018. That is far from systemic. So this is one of the terms that they continue to use, they like to use, but the bottom line is, if they want to reform anything, they have to reform the leadership in the Democratic Party, where the leaders in cities like Atlanta and Chicago and Baltimore that have the highest violent crime and highest murder rates, they have to come forward and tell their communities what the problem really is, and it's not the cops.
Let me ask you about the NYPD has just announced, or Mayor Bill de Blasio just announced, that they're going to expand to all precincts, a pilot program that was in 3 precincts that basically sends social workers and EMS to respond to nonviolent mental health crisis calls. What are your thoughts on that? Do you know what's going to be the result of one of these mental health calls when you go?
Yeah, here's what's going to happen. And, everything that Mayor de Blasio has done, from opening prison doors to eliminating, punitive segregation on Rikers Island, every single project, every program, everything he's done since he started 7.5 years ago, I've predicted demise and failure, and I've been right on every one. So here's my prediction for this one. You can put social workers out there, and you can send them on radio runs where you believe that there may be mental illness and somebody needs a social worker. Here's what's going to happen. Those social workers are going to respond to a venue, to a house, to an apartment. Somebody's going to have mental illness, a problem, and they're going to have a weapon. And that social worker's not going to have a weapon. And they're going to get cut up, they're going to get killed, they're going to get beat to a pulp. Something's going to happen, and then they'll end this program, just like everything else. The bottom line is the men and women in the NYPD, they know their job, and they know it really well. They're the best trained police officers in the entire world. Let them do their job. Stop handcuffing them. Stop calling for police reform every time something happens, especially when it's not the fault of the cop. You have a police officer somewhere in the United States that attempts to make an arrest on a car stop. The person on that car stop resists arrest, pulls out a weapon, gets shot and killed, and you have the entire left radical, movement in the U.S. calling for reforms of police. Had nothing to do with the police. If that person didn't resist arrest, they'd be alive today. Stop it. This is the political correctness in this radical left-wing ideology. It's destroying this country.
Be sure to watch the entire episode now on epochtv.com, a new completely censorship-free premium subscription platform brought to you by the Epoch Times. See you there.